So it's October. I'm back in Chicago after a whole summer in Mexico City, which was great, but it's time to be home and enjoy the fall weather because it is October. So, with October comes a whole new TBR list. Okay, so the first book I'll be reading is called A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Now, this book was inspired by Siobhan Dowd. She is an English author who died, I think, in 2007. She spoke with her editor about this idea of the book, and then when she died, the editor asked Patrick Ness to write the book, and this is it. It looks kind of eerie because it doesn't look that scary, but it looks eerie. I don't know what it's about. I've heard that it's about death, dealing with the loss of a loved one. I've heard it's emotional, but I don't want to get spoiled. I want to go into it completely blind and go from there. I've heard good things. Good things. Okay, so the next book that I'm going to be reading, which I already started and I'm loving, is called Dracula by Bram Stoker. This book was published, I think, in 1879, and although it's 2015, it is amazing. I'm loving it so much so far. I did not think it would be this good. To be honest, it's my first time reading it. I know, I'm late to it, but it is so good. I'm gonna finish it by the end of the week, probably. Amazing. Okay, so, oh, by the way, do you want to know what this book is about? It's about Dracula. That's what it's about. Dracula is a vampire, and it's written in the form of letters and diaries and messages and newspaper clippings and that stuff. It is very, very good, and I recommend it to everybody. Okay, so the next book is also a book that you've probably heard of. It's called Carrie by Stephen King. I think this was his first published book, probably in like 1979, probably. I think, I don't know. But this book is probably one of the horror classics of our era. I'm probably exaggerating. You have most likely heard of this book because it's been made into a movie twice, as far as I know, twice. It's about Carrie, who is in high school, and she is a misfit. She gets bullied. She gets basically tortured by her high school classmates. And then she finds out she has telekinetic powers. And guess what happens? She gets revenge. There's a whole scene at the prom. You all know it. But I'm finally gonna get to read the book. I'm almost positive it's gonna be different from the movie, like it always is. I haven't seen the latest movie, and I don't want to really, because I don't really dig that actress. Anyway, the next book I'll be reading is called The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. She's a Chilean oh god, Chilean writer. She wrote several books after this one. I think this is her first one. And my mom loved it. I want to see if I love it. I trust her taste in books. I've been meaning to read it for a long time. And I'm guessing now is the perfect time because it's Halloween, spirits. Woo. I think this book deals with politics and a family called, hold on, the Truebas. which, from what I've heard, it spans 3 generations of that family. And it's got magic and spirits and yeah. Okay, so one more book. Just kidding. Several more books left. This book called The Secret Fire by C.J. Doherty and Karina Rosenfeld. So, what I know about these authors. Okay, one of them lives in England and one of them lives in France. Or just one of them is French and one of them is English. I don't know. It's about 2 kids, I think high school kids, I'm guessing. One of them is a French guy named Sasha, I think. And he has all these, he has powers. Yeah. He has powers. Sasha has powers and he can't die. If he commits suicide or if he tries to kill himself, he can't die. But he will die. And one day, when he does die, that's going to cause bad things. What bad things? I don't know. So then there's this girl. What's her name? Taylor. Taylor, I think, is English. And she lives far away from Sasha. And she's the only one who can stop the bad things from happening when he dies, or stop him from dying, or something like that. So they have to meet, and they have to get to know each other for this bad stuff to not happen. And obviously there is someone or something trying to not let them meet. This book just came out, I think, like last month, in September. It sounds interesting. It sounds fun, I guess. I don't mind giving it a shot. Okay? The next book I'm going to be reading is called Night School. In the US, it's called Night School Genesis because it's part of 4 books, and I guess that would be confusing for Americans if it's just called Night School in a Night School series. I don't know. But in the UK, it's called Night School. Just Night School. It's also by this author, C.J. Doherty. It's about this girl named Ali Sheridan, who is basically a troublemaker. She gets kicked out of school, I think. She gets arrested. And because of that, her parents decide to send her to an elite boarding school outside of London. And then she becomes part of that crowd, and she gets involved in that school or whatever. And then something bad happens to her. I think they probably try to kill her or something. I don't know. Turns out the Samaria Academy is not what it seems. Anyway, it sounds interesting, so I'm gonna give it a shot. The next book I'll be reading is called Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And this book needs no explanation because it's a classic, just like Dracula. I decided to read it because it's October, Halloween is coming. I want to read more classics, and why not? The next book I'll be reading is called Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This book deals with Beth and Jennifer, who send each other emails in their company email thing. And then Lincoln, this guy who is hired to be checking out those emails and making sure they're all safe and they're all business stuff, whatever. He reads them, and he keeps reading these emails like a creep. And then he knows he's supposed to say something. He knows he's supposed to tell on them that they're not acting professional or something, but he doesn't. And then he ends up falling in love with one of them. I don't know who. I think it's Beth or Jennifer or something. So, what does Lincoln do? I don't know. I'm gonna read it. Sounds funny, it sounds interesting, it sounds great. I can't wait to read it. Plus, Rainbow Rowell, I haven't read her stuff, but I have all her books. And then, yeah, I gotta read them. The next book I will be reading is called You by Caroline Kapnis, I think. and it's about this guy named Joe who lives in New York, I think the East Village, and he works at this bookstore. And there's this girl who walks in, and she looks at him, and he looks at her, and then he becomes obsessed with her, and he becomes her stalker. So he's stalking her, and I think the stalking leads to a relationship, if I'm not mistaken. And then, yeah, where does it go from there? Who knows? It's a thriller, and I am looking for a thrill. The next book I'll be reading is called See Me by Nicholas Sparks. This is another love story in his collection of love stories that he publishes all the time. I haven't read a book of his since The Notebook, the movie, came out. I read The Notebook back then. I have more of his books, but I haven't read them. Anyway, I'm looking for a love story, to be honest. I want to read one. I haven't read one in years, or at least one that has kept me thinking about it, or at least one that I haven't forgotten. Anyway, I've been wanting to read a love story, and this is it. It's about a guy named Colin and a girl named Maria. That's all I know. That's all I care to know. It's gonna be a love story. What else do you want to know? Yeah. And the next book I'll be reading is called Illuminated by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Now, I am not so happy with Amy about These Broken Stars. I did not like that book. But I'm going to give her another shot with this book, Illuminated, because it is amazing from what I heard. Yeah, everyone keeps talking about this book. They say it is so good. Everyone who's gotten an advanced reader's copy, at least, they say that it's amazing and that everyone should read it. And I'm going to read it. It looks cool. It's about, I don't know what, but it's written in this form that looks like it's a bunch of files. So that sounds interesting. It doesn't sound easy to read, but it's probably gonna be cool anyway. Yeah. The final book I'll be reading is called Interview with the Vampire, or The Interview with the Vampire, or Interview with the Vampire, whatever. It's by Anne Rice, and it sounds interesting. Okay, so this book is about a vampire being interviewed. That's all I know. It's Anne Rice. After reading Dracula, I figured why not read another vampire book? I mean, you have the foundation of Dracula, you might as well build on it, right? Yeah, I should really get that new Twilight book too. Anyway, that's about it for today. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys like the books I'm reading, if you guys hate them. Let me know anything. So, let me know what you guys think. Comment, subscribe. Yeah. So yeah, that's my TBR for October. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like these books? Do you guys think I'm crazy for picking so many books? You guys think I should cut my hair? I'm tired. I will talk to you later.